All right, what is going on? It is Nate, and we got another video today. So today we're going to do trading video. It's been a while. I posted a poll on my Instagram, and some people voted for trading. So I was like, okay, you know what better day to do it than the day where I closed out of one of my winning positions. So I'm going to go over the trade I made, why I bought it, why I trimmed where I trimmed, why I sold where I sold, and kind of just cover that whole thing, just to give you guys like kind of an insight on this. And so just a little recap on my strategy. So I do swing trading, right? So I hold things for typically like in a profitable trade, it'll last a few weeks, probably 2-3 weeks. And then the trades that don't work out, they usually stop out within 10-20 minutes. So usually pretty quickly if it's going to be a winning trade or not. But that's usually my hold time. And then I have different risk management tactics and stuff like this. So I'll kind of cover it briefly. And then if you guys like this video, if it gets good views, good reviews, I guess I should say, if people like it, if there's action on it, then I could do like a full guide on the strategy. So first things first, though, I just want to talk about this. So CRDO, I bought this thing twice today. I bought it at open, and it stopped me out. And then I bought it again, and it stopped me out. And then now it's up 7.5%. Anyways, so, that stuff happens. But it is what it is. I'm just not going to look at it because it's going to make me mad. So, wow, a lot of stuff recovered. Okay, anyways. So the stock that made me a lot of money was Joby, whatever you want to call it. So this is like airport, airline, which we've been seeing a lot of action in that area, like airlines, aerospace, like just kind of, I don't know, flying stuff, I guess, and AI related stuff, just all kinds of automation and like self-driving, AI, like all kinds of just, I don't know, what you would expect, like technological advancement related companies. Now, what exactly does Jobby do? I don't know. I don't care. I just trade the charts. It doesn't really matter what the company does. A lot of the companies I trade, to be honest, are probably severely in debt, and they're probably going out of business, and they're probably fake. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We just look at the chart. If the chart looks good, we trade it. We risk properly, and they get us good returns. So this one, so this is the daily chart right here. And then I know my screen probably looks overwhelming, but here on the left side, this is my scanners. So every day, every night, I go through all these. I go through the gap scanner, which shows me, I do that in the morning before the market opens. It shows me everything that's gapping up. And then the volume scan shows me what got volume throughout the day. And then I have the 6-month gainer, 3-month gainer, and the 1-month gainer. Those just go over the stocks that meet my criteria that I've, over the last few months that have met the criteria. So that's where I found Jobby, right? So I go through know if I found it on 6-month or 3-month or 1 month. I don't know. It could have been any of them. But you can see it's right there, right? So you see that, and I bought it on, so we'll rewind a little bit so you guys can kind of experience it with me. Okay. So this is what it looked like here. Let me try to remember how to, okay, yeah. Okay. So this is what I see here, right? This is the day before I bought it. So this is what I'm looking at, right? So this thing from the bottom here to this peak, it made a 90, about 100% move from the lows. From the low to the high was 100%, right? So what happened? This thing made a big move up, right? And then pulled back. Made a big move up, 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 pulled back, right? So clearly it had this nice trend. Like it does gap around a little bit, but you could see it has this trend, and you could see here, right, from this day on, as it consolidated, you could see the volume was matching that. The volume was dying out, right? Which is what you want to see. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a stock that makes a big move up, right? And then I want it to consolidate it. I want it to pull in to the 10-day or even the 20-day moving average. Right here we saw it was a 20-day moving average, which these I'm seeing have a lot longer lasting moves versus the ones that go up to the 10-day, which is this green line, right? So if it would have stopped consolidating here and then broke out, it probably wouldn't have made the move that it made. But because it pulled back to the 20-day, it failed it, right? And here you can see it went below it, and then it caught itself, recovered, and then from there it broke out. Those are the best type of breakouts, and those are the breakouts that typically have the most momentum and move the fastest. So I see this, right? And so I'm like, okay, this is a great setup. And I know that airlines and aviation, all that type of stuff has been doing very well. So it was a top watch, right? So then broke out here, right? You could see the volume here. It didn't have a ton of volume, but you could see it was definitely like more volume than we were getting. And you could see it definitely broke out of this range. Like it had been stuck below this $9-ish mark around like for, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 days. So that's what we're looking for, right? We want something that's stuck in a range, and then we buy it once it breaks out of the range. So then I bought it here, and I risked 0.5%. So my total risk on this trade was $200. That was what I risked. And then from there, right, so it went, and then it kind of just stopped, right? So it did that, and then it didn't do anything. Like this candle, based off the way this looks, it looks like it's done. Like it looked like the move was over. It looked like it was gonna get stuck. And then look what happened, right? So this stuff, this is why you can't predict the top. You can't predict the end of the move. You can't predict any of this stuff. You have to trust the moving averages, right? Because like right here, this looked like it was going to turn around. This looks like it's going to turn around, right? This looks like, okay, yeah, this thing's, the move's over with. But you can see now we're getting volume. The volume's increasing. And then you go here, okay, it's like, oh, shoot, maybe this thing's going to the floor. So on this day where we went up a good amount, I trimmed a good amount of the position because the market hasn't been following through too much. And then I saw like it made the nice move and then it kind of looked like it was failing. So I trimmed some, but I still had like 75% of the position roughly. And then you could see it kind of was consolidating. Well, look what happened. It pulled back to the 10-day or pretty close to it, right? So it used to fail at this level. Like right here, it failed to close below it. It was the high of this candle, and then it came down and it bounced right on that, which is a huge, not a huge good sign. That doesn't make sense. A very good sign. And then from there, you can see it recovered. And that's when things started to get crazy. It's like, okay, this thing looks like it's ready to go again. And then we had good news. I don't remember what the news was, but we got lucky. There was news in our favor, and so it continued. So then I trimmed a little bit more here because I was like, okay, maybe this thing just falls after the news. So then, well, look what we got going here. Now it's consolidating. Bam, keeps going. Okay, and it's like, okay, this thing's holding up well. A little red day, but nothing too scary. And then I was like, okay. And when they close like this next to the candle like that, like how it did here, like a lot of times they'll recover. And then you can see it did, right? It came down off open and then it recovered. And after I sold here, I trimmed some here, I moved my stop loss to break even. So my stop loss is like down here, but I'm trailing it with the 10-day moving average, which is this green line, right? So if it closes below this line, I sell the whole position. But other than that, I just trim it on the way up and then I close it once it, closes below that. So now you can see, look, now it's gapping up. Now it's like, okay, now we got volume increasing, stocks gapping up. This thing's starting to get a ton of momentum. Bam, gaps up again, right? It's like, okay, this thing's not stopping. Bam, again, pulls higher. And so it's like, okay, this thing is ruthless. And then it kind of started to go sideways. And then, it pulled back a little bit here, fell again. And then I thought we were going to get another move. And then today, I think we're caught up now. Yeah. So then it pulled back, whatever, caught itself. And then today I had bought it again yesterday on this day because it broke these highs here, like these few days. And it looked like it was ready to continue. But then it kind of fell back into the range. And then today it stopped out. And so I had moved my stop loss to this day's low. So now I don't own any of this stock. I just sold the whole position for a total. I think I made a total of like 14. Well, I can look. I can show you guys. Let me pull it up. So P&L. Okay, I made a total of $1,472. I don't know if that's backwards or not, but that was the total. And so that's with me stopping out of the position I took yesterday, right? Which I risked, I think, like $100 on or something like that. And then trimming stuff on the way up. And then most of the time, like since this day here, I was risk free, right? So I took some profits and I moved my stop loss up. So I had no risk this whole entire time. This is all just profit. And then, it went sideways for a while and then I, sold it today, closed right on here, but it looks like it's going to break out again soon. So I'll definitely be buying this again. It'd be nice if it pulled back to the 20-day. I don't know that it'll do that. I think it'll kind of pump and then kind of give like one last push and then pull back pretty hard. But obviously I'm not a magic 8-ball. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to pretend like I do. I'm just telling you guys what I, based off what I see. So yeah, so I made $1,472, so about $1,500, and I risked 200. So I risked $200 and I made $1,470. Now, does every single trade go that way? No, not every trade goes that way. Like I could show you today, CRDO, right? I'll show you exactly how this trade went. So I decreased my risk the last 2 weeks because the market's been going kind of crazy. So that I know the market needs time to chill. But let's go to the 5-minute chart. So I'll go over how I enter these. Obviously, I'm not, like, this isn't jobby, so this is a different stock, but I'll just go over, like, my entry point. So I enter on the break of 5-minute highs. So I had thought that this was the first 5-minute candle, but really it was this candle. I don't know. I've never really seen, I don't know why it looked weird to me. I honestly have no idea. So I thought the low of day here was here, but really the low of day was here. And so I bought it here. because I thought this was the 5 minute high. So I thought this was breaking the 5 minute highs. So I bought it with low risk, and then this was the stop loss, right? Because this was the first candle of the day, and I always put the stop loss at low of day, which was really confusing because I was like, okay, why is, why, I was like, why do I have such good size on this? And then you can see it kind of flagged and then it failed, right? So it stopped me out here. So I lost, $100 or whatever. And then it started pumping again, pump, pump, pump. And then so then it took out the highs right here. So then I bought it again with a 0.25% risk. And you can see bam, 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 falls down. Okay, bam, stops me out again. And then look what happens, right? Okay, now, like if you zoom out here, so I bought it here, and then it stopped me out here, and then now it's up at 108. I think my entry was about 106. So it made, I don't know what percent, it made I would be up a few percent, but I had pretty good size on the original position. But that just shows like some of these you're gonna get stopped out on very, very quickly. New egg, I bought this one yesterday. Well, today's Monday, so Friday. And look, like this one, it's up another 15% today. It's up 12% yesterday or on Monday. But you can see this thing is like, it doesn't look the prettiest, right? It's not like really setting up too nicely, but look at how powerful this thing is. I mean, look at the moves this stock has made. This thing just is, I mean, from the lows here to these highs, it made a 1,400% move, right? So it's like this thing is freakishly strong. And you can see it makes these huge moves, pulls back, huge move, pulls back, huge move, pulls back, right? So now we're anticipating another huge move, which it looks like it's going to do. I don't like that it didn't catch up to the 20-day, because you can see that's what it's been doing every other time it's made a move. But it could go from here, and yeah. So then I also bought this today, SES. So you can see it's kind of gapped up, and then it had this little range here, and then it was pushing higher. It had momentum. It's auto parts. Auto parts has been a huge theme or sector, whatever you want to call it, in the markets recently, and so that's why I bought it. And you can see it's been setting up for quite some time. Like if you look, it really has like almost a monthly base. You can see it's been stuck in here for a long time, just going sideways, and now we're out of that range. It tested back on this key level, and now it's going higher, which is exactly what you want to see. And like you can see here, this time it just shot right through it, and then it failed very quickly. So I like the way this, it came back, it coiled up against the key level, and then it broke out. It pulled back last week, and then it closed strong, and then now it's pushing higher. So it's a great trade. And then I also have SMR. This is a great stock, nuclear related stock. Nuclear stocks are huge because of like the government right now. They're doing a lot of nuclear, like they're doing a lot with nuclear energy, or they're enforcing it. I don't know exactly. Like I said, I just trade the chart. The more you pay attention to the news, the more you stress yourself out, the more you make bad decisions because you're thinking about 100,000 different things. But the truth is, the stock will tell you what it's going to do. If it's going to go up, it's going to show you. If it's going to go down, it's going to show you. And if you're trying to look at the news and look at this and look at that and like also try to trade, then you're making this decision with this foggy mind. You have to just look at the charts, learn how to read the charts, and then make decisions based off that. So you can see here, I bought it. You can see it made a move here. I've been trading this quite a bit. Like here, I think I traded it, and then here I traded it. And then it pulled back. It pulled in here, undercut the 20-day and the 10-day, right? Which that is what you want to see if it holds it. And you could see it undercut the 10 and 20-day, and it held it, and it built this base. So it's like, okay, and then you could see from there it popped. It kind of built this flag, and then it popped from there. I bought it on this day, I believe. I don't remember. It was either this day or this day. And I bought it from there, and then you could see it's done very well. So from my entry, oops, I think I'm up about 35% on it. Yeah. So, yeah, I bought it this day, roughly. Either at the highs of this day or at the very beginning of this day. I don't remember. But, yeah, that's kind of what I got going on. And then this, I bought this today. It kind of failed to break out. It could stop me out tomorrow. I don't know. Very low risk. And then PGY, I bought this one here. It gapped up on earnings, I think. It was earnings or news, I don't remember. But it gapped up, and then it kind of just went sideways from there. But it's, it's allowing the 10-day moving average to catch up, and I think from there it'll continue higher and break out again. So yeah, that's kind of what that's kind of an update. But yeah, Jobby was a nice winner. Like I said, we ended up getting the return on the shares at this point. It was over 100%. But then I bought more, so it messed up the average. So I don't know exactly how much I closed. Well, actually, I could look. I know I bought it at about $9. So I bought a few hundred shares at $9. And then I sold it for $17. So about 100%, like 90% probably. profit on shares. And like I bought it on the 26th of June, and then I just sold it on the 28th. So I had that one for a month, which is actually kind of a really long time. I don't really have stuff for that long. But you can see it did very well. It was a very easy hold. Every day it pretty much made me money. But yeah, so that's kind of an insight on, I mean, kind of my strategy, but just that trade, what I look for. So then QS was another great trade I had. So this one, you can see it gapped up here. It made a, what is this? 75% move in 2 days, right? It gapped up and went higher, pulled back to the moving average. It was not really that good of a setup. Like, honestly, it didn't really go sideways for too long. It didn't even touch the 10-day. So I bought it here with, I think, a 0.5% or a 1/4% risk. I don't know. I didn't risk a lot, but then it ended up going, I think I ended up at the peak, I was up over 100% on shares. And then I sold it on this day because they had earnings and I didn't want to risk it. And then you can see it pulled back. But now you can see it's coming to the 20-day. So this is something I'm really watching. I want to see it build a base here and then continue higher. But today was a really weird day. A lot of stocks looked really good going into open, and then everything failed. Like, you could see my watch list over here on the side. Almost everything was red, and every single one of these stocks looked like it was ready to break out today. So it's actually really concerning for the market. I don't know I don't know if we're going to go higher, if the market's going to pull back. I don't know. But like I said, I don't try to predict stuff. I react. So that's kind of how to be with trading. You can't predict. You just have to have a strategy. You have to implement it, and you have to react to what's going on. You can't. If you try to predict stuff, you're going to be wrong most of the time, because there's no way to know what's going to happen. You have your edge, right? You know what your strategy is. You know what you can do to, like, give your best chance or your best opportunities, but you can't ultimately control the stock. So you don't try to be like, oh, I know this one's going to go really good. I'm going to make a lot of money on this one, because usually those are the ones that stop out, and then you're like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? So yeah, ENVX. I should have bought this today. Oh wow, that actually probably would have stopped me out. That's crazy. That thing pumped and dumped. Anyways, I'm ending this video here, so it's somewhat short. I know a lot of my videos end up going like 30-40 minutes. So yeah, that's kind of my strategy. If you guys like this, comment, like it, subscribe, whatever. I could post more trading videos. I enjoy posting them, but I just don't really know what to post. Like, I don't know, my strategy, it's pretty simple, and but I'm happy to share it. But yeah, so if you have questions, if you want me to make a video about a specific question, if you want me to make a video like a course type thing, just comment, whatever, DM me on Instagram, whatever you want, and I'll do that. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video.